This week, we're diving into a reality that most of us face sooner or later, change in the workplace. Whether it's a new boss, shifting team dynamics, or even a complete career pivot, change can be intimidating, but here's the deal. How you handle it can make all the difference. We're talking strategies to stay grounded, adjust to new environments, and turn uncertainty into opportunity. It's not just about surviving change, it's about thriving in it. So let's buckle up, let's explore how to keep moving forward, no matter what's shifting around you. Speaking of thriving and moving forward, check out this week's thought leader. With over a decade of entrepreneur experience, he's helped create solutions that have impacted more than 100,000 individuals and generated over $10 million in revenue. He's taken home some serious awards along the way, including Forbes 30 Under 30 in consumer tech, Argentum Senior Living Leader Under 40, SBA's Co-Young Entrepreneur of the Year for New England, Future Leader by Senior Housing News, Business Affiliate of the National Association of Activity Professionals. Sounds like somebody we want to tap into. Let's get into it, hustlers.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Reiners, currently the Chief Growth Officer at Parasol Alliance. My background is I've helped start two companies over the last, 13 years or so, both leading to successful exits, and have been dedicated the last 8 years or so to senior living. I currently live in Syracuse, New York, happily married, and I've got a 3-year-old. And those are my most important jobs, being a girl dad and a husband, but really excited about senior living. I've been in that for about 8 or 9 years now and really trying to transform the technology culture within it. So what's inspired my current path? So coming out of college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was essentially a telemarketer making $150 per day. I was approached by my best friend, best man at my wedding, kid I grew up with, Jake, to help start a company that was helping people around the country do silent disco events. We started that, and if you don't know what a silent disco is, imagine a room full of people dancing to no out loud music, and everything is being played through wireless headphones. A few years into it, a few things happened simultaneously. We started getting phone calls from senior living communities. I saw what my grandmother was going through. She couldn't hear, so she wouldn't participate in anything. And Jake and I, not really knowing any better, just started walking into senior living communities in upstate New York. And some of the first demos, we'd see staff crying, residents coming up and thanking us, and family members trying to buy the system. And that really grew us to grow a company called Eversound, which we led to about 1,500 communities before getting acquired by Uniguest in May of 2023. I hung around Uniguest for about a year or so, but it was called to a bigger calling, which was try to change the technology culture within senior living, kind of around the industry and kind of all these different tech vendors. Everybody seemed to be struggling with the same thing. And I think if you're living right, it's a laggard when it comes to technology adoption. So, my vision has changed to try and go above that and try and help people and change this technology culture, whether it's through education, inspiration, or just making sure that people are seeing a proper ROI on their technology initiatives. Oh, I love this question about defining personal and professional success. And balancing the two. So I think balance is tough. I look at it as more of a blend. And I would say in the personal and the professional side. And of course, this is outside some of the core essentials for setting up my family for success. But it's always been my goal in life, in business, and anything. If two strangers were to come across each other, make the connection that they both had some level of friendship or standing of who I was, that they were able to connect and say that I was a good person. I try to do what's right for people. Of course, we all stumble at times, but ultimately at the end of the day, I think we're remembered by our relationships and the good that we put out into the world. And if I'm able to inspire and help others and help provide some hope, or even just be a little bit more vulnerable and share my story and some of my own struggles and help raise my fellow person, what's more successful than that, right? So I'm in the senior living industry, and if you're in the senior living industry, I think the general public, probably close to 90% of people, when they think of senior living, they think of that 70s view of what a nursing home is, something that smells bad, and it's probably more on the clinical side. And where I really think of some of these misconceptions, right, it's just what we see in media, whether it's movies or television. But how do we really challenge them? So I run a podcast. I think we're up to about 120 episodes now, just interviewing awesome leaders in the space and all the really cool stuff that they're doing. But I think too, it's just to open up dialogue, right? And open up conversations with people that might not have that opinion and try to help educate them of what this can look like. And then I find a lot of kids, college kids, not really sure where they want to go in life. I'm 35 now. I still have no idea what I want to be when I get older. I still feel like I'm 12 years old at times. But really trying to show them that our industry is basically, I like to think about it as business with soul, right? Like you can really do any aspect of business. And at the end of the day, if you're improving quality of life for other people, that's really what it's all about. And if we can continue to put that front and center and share some of these stories that are amazing stories, some of the wisdom from these communities, I think we can try to change the narrative when it comes to aging. So growing 2 startups, granted it was not all me, there was a whole team behind it, so I definitely cannot take any credit for that, but every day felt like there was new challenges or setbacks, and I think my view on them over time has matured. I would say early on, right, it was kind of like Chicken Little, the sky is falling and that nothing will ever be the same, and it was just terrible. But I think as I've gotten older and I've started watching more of these movies with my 3-year-old, what I've really started to embrace comes from the movie Frozen 2. And I won't sing to you, I promise that. But it's just this idea of what's the next right step? So whenever I've come across a challenge or a setback, I've really started to embrace this of like, what's the next thing that we can do? Because one of the things I always try to remind myself too, and remind those around me, is you can only control what you can control, right? And the only thing I can do is how I react to something and what I do next. So there could be a million things to do, but if I can just take that next best step to put something, whether it's in my favor or my company's favor or the people around me's favor, I find that's really, at the end of the day, all we can really do. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I apologize in advance. I definitely post at a nauseating amount. I'll be the first to admit that. But what I want to share is just about this new opportunity that I'm currently working at. So I'm working for a company called Parasol Alliance, and I truly believe they're one of the best kept secrets within senior living. We are a third-party managed services provider and IT consultant, which I know that's just kind of the mumbo jumbo you have to say, but really we're changing the face of technology within senior living, whether it's all the culture and leadership awards that we've won, which is up to 28 now. We like to think we're the happiest IT company out there. And when you're working with a service provider, right, if the employees aren't happy, if the team you're working with isn't happy, it's going to be a direct reflection in those that you work with. So I'm so excited to be here as their chief growth officer. Still trying to figure out what the chief growth officer actually does. I wish it was growing my hair, but hey, you can't win them all. But I just think if you're in anything technology, right, we're really trying to change the technology culture. See, technology is the future, if not the present, and whatever we can do to inch forward every single day, whether we're adopting it more and really just making sure that we're successful with it, seeing the ROI, seeing the integrations. I think it's in a really unique spot that it is the future and we need to embrace it today, or the future is going to look very different. So Parasol Alliance, check out, we've got a podcast there called Raising Tech. Podcast that I run is called Connecting the Dots. I'm sure you've seen my posts if you're connected on LinkedIn, but thank you for listening to me a little bit more, and appreciate you.
I've been watching and following your journey as you've been rising up through the ranks and, becoming a big wig within the industry and doing big things. And so I'm happy for you. I really am.
Well, thank you. It's honestly the best part of this whole gig is just people. And
Yeah.
I've always thought it was super cliche when people say, "Oh, I'm a people person," or "I love people." Well, I mean, obviously, if you're in sales, you have to enjoy being around people, but it's truly the relationships that, just networking and just getting to know people from different avenues. And
Right.
the best part is seeing when they kind of all come full circle. Because you may know somebody who knows this person and so forth.
The industry is very small, even though it feels big.
Right?
It
Right? I know.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those relationships are very fruitful. They last a long time. Like you and I, it's 12 years in the making, right? And now
Yeah.
we're finally here together, connected, and I'm enjoying this experience and I'm excited that people actually get an opportunity to actually get to know you. Now, I've read a little bit about your bio, and that doesn't describe, 100% who you are, right? Would you agree with that?
100%. I still have I still have families that I've helped 10, 15 years ago that we're friends on Facebook, or we're, on LinkedIn or whatever. And, and those anniversaries of maybe a loved one's passing come up, and it's almost like a goosebump moment when they're, still shouting out, thank you for all you did or for just being there. And a really cool thing, I think, too, is when you make a difference and you don't even realize that you do.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's the fun part.
If you want to drive revenue for your organization, if you want to level up, if you want to be a game changer with the industry and bring in fresh ideas, you definitely want to connect with Kira. She's going to be the missing piece to your puzzle. We've all been there. That moment when the career takes a sharp turn. Maybe it's a new job, a different industry, or even starting your own business. Career transitions can feel like jumping into the unknown. So let's be real, it's scary. But here's the good news. You don't have to go through it with fear. You can face it with confidence. Today we're going to break down how to handle those transitions like a pro. Step 1, embrace the change. The first step to handling a career transition with confidence is embracing the change. Don't waste your energy resisting or overthinking it. Change happens, it's part of life. Instead of asking yourself, why is this happening to me? Flip the script and ask, how can I make the most of this? That shift in mindset shifts the tone of everything that follows. Step 2, leverage your strengths. Every transition brings uncertainty, but one thing that you can count on is your own skill set. Look at what you've already bring to the table, whether it's leadership, problem solving, or creativity. Those strengths don't vanish just because you're in a new environment. Lean into them and use them to build momentum. Step 3, network like it's your job. You've heard it before, but it's true. Your network is your net worth. When you're in a career transition, building and maintaining relationships is key. Don't be afraid to reach out to mentors, former colleagues, or even new connections on LinkedIn. Having the right people in your corner, it opens doors that you didn't even know existed. Step 4, stay curious and keep learning. One of the biggest mistakes people make during transitions is thinking that they need to have everything figured out right away. But in reality, transitions are the perfect time to learn new things. Whether it's picking up new skills, getting certified, or just staying up to date with trends in your industry. Staying curious keeps you ahead of the game. Step 5, keep the long game in mind. Transitions are temporary, but your career is a long journey. Don't get caught up in short-term setbacks or doubts. Focus on long-term goals. Remember why you started the journey in the first place and let that guide you to your next steps. You've got this. Trust the process. And there you have it. Career transitions, they don't have to shake your confidence. By embracing the change, leveraging your strengths, networking, staying curious, and keeping your long-term goals in focus, you can turn any career shift into an opportunity. So the next time life throws you curveballs, don't sweat it. You got the tools to handle any transition that comes your way. Remember, confidence isn't about knowing all the answers. It's about knowing that you've got what it takes to figure them out. So what transitions are you navigating right now? Drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Remember, confidence is a mindset. You've got this. Stay confident and keep hustling. Let's get it, hustlers.
There are moments in life when the path ahead seems uncertain, where every step feels like a gamble, and the road behind you is littered with doubts. This is the story of someone who faced those moments head-on, refused to give up, and found success in the most unexpected places. Let me take you back to the beginning. Our subject, we'll call her Tasha, was comfortable in her job. She had worked at the same company for over a decade, secure, experienced, and respected. But one day, everything changed. The company announced layoffs. Tasha was blindsided. In one swift moment, her stability was gone. She felt like the rug had been pulled from under her. For a while, the fear of the unknown felt suffocating. But here's the thing about Tasha. She's a fighter. Instead of spiraling, she made a decision that would shape her future. She was going to embrace the unknown. Sure, she didn't know exactly what was next, but she was determined to figure it out. She started by investing in herself. After years of doing the same job, Tasha took the time to assess what she really wanted out of her career. She signed up for courses, learned new skills, and even got certified in a completely different field. Each day was a step into uncharted territory, but instead of letting the uncertainty freeze her, she let it fuel her. Networking became her next move. She reached out to old colleagues, attended industry events, and pushed herself to meet new people. Slowly but surely, doors began to open, not because of luck, but because she refused to sit idle. She believed that if she kept showing up, something would stick. And it did. A few months into her job search, she got an opportunity she hadn't even considered, a leadership position in a new industry. It wasn't what she'd been doing for the past 10 years, but it felt right. The job pushed her beyond her comfort zone and challenged her in ways she hadn't anticipated, but she embraced every moment. Tasha learned something valuable along the way. Change isn't just about survival, it's about growth. The unknown, as terrifying as it seems, is where transformation happens. And while she never expected to find herself in this new career, it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to her. Today, Tasha leads a team at a cutting-edge tech company. She's the go-to person for strategy and innovation, constantly pushing the envelope, just as she pushed herself during those tough times. When people ask how she got where she is, she always says the same thing. I didn't have all the answers, but I trusted myself to find them. So if you're facing a career change, remember Tasha's story. Embrace the unknown, take the risk, and trust that you've got what it takes to thrive. The journey might be uncertain, but that's where your greatest opportunities lie. The road ahead may not always be clear, but with resilience and determination, you can turn the unknown into your greatest adventure. Keep going. You never know where it might lead.
Let's face it, change can be scary. Whether it's a new job, a shift in responsibilities, or even changes in your personal life, we all tend to resist it at first. But here's the truth, change is inevitable. So instead of fighting it, what if we got comfortable with it? What if we learned how to embrace change by making small, daily adaptations? This week's challenge is all about getting comfortable with change, one step at a time. You don't have to overhaul your entire routine overnight. In fact, real growth happens when we make small, manageable changes that build over time. Here's how you can start. 1. Try something new every day. It doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe you switch up your morning routine, try a different route to work, or learn a new skill online for 10 minutes. These small changes train your brain to adapt. Over time, you'll become more comfortable stepping out of your comfort zone because you'll have built a habit of adapting to new things. 2. Set micro goals. Big changes feel overwhelming, but breaking them down into tiny, bite-sized goals makes them manageable. Want to switch careers? Instead of feeling lost in the big picture, focus on small tasks. Updating your resume, reaching out to one mentor, or reading one article about your new industry each day. These small actions make a big difference over time, and you'll start to see progress without feeling overwhelmed. 3. Practice flexibility. Get into the habit of saying yes to things that are outside your usual routine. When an unexpected task or opportunity comes up, approach it with an open mind. Think of it as an exercise in flexibility. Every time you do something different, you're teaching yourself to be more adaptable, and that's the key to thriving in times of change. 4. Reflect and adjust. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on the small changes you made. What worked? What didn't? Use that reflection to adjust your approach for the next day. This process of daily reflection helps you become more aware of how you handle change and gives you the insight to improve. The goal of this week's challenge isn't to make you fearless in the face of change overnight. It's about easing into the process, one small step at a time. By practicing these small daily adaptations, you'll start to see that change isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. So let's get started. Change is coming, and this time you'll be ready to meet it head on.
Welcome to Health Hustle Chronicles, where the grind meets growth in the world of healthcare. This ain't your typical podcast. I'm here to shine light on the talent that's out there hustling every day. Introduce you to coaches who can level up your game and break down exactly how you can climb the ladder in this industry. Whether you're just stepping in or already in the trenches, I'm going to give you the real deal on how to elevate beyond the road and claim what's yours. I'm talking about unlocking opportunities that seem hidden, finding leadership when it feels like no one's got your back, and building a roadmap to success even when the path ain't clear. From time management to battling self-doubt, lack of mentorship, to the struggle of getting noticed. I get it. I've been there. And I'm going to bring you that hustle mindset with every episode so you can take that next step towards career growth and wealth. If you're ready to go beyond surviving and start thriving in healthcare, then this podcast is for you. It's time to hustle harder, grow smarter, and elevate together. Let's get it, hustlers.